Hey everybody, what's up? Alright, it's Jesse, and today we are going to be making an impulse grenade from Fortnite. These kind of grenade things, they're in other games, so they're pretty interesting. So what we're going to be using is a thing called a radial force. So obviously it's going to be a little glitchy. Stuff like that requires quite a bit of knowledge. So this should be kind of a fun base. I'm just experimenting around. It'll be fun. So if you just kind of want to mess around, if you're just making a small little thing and you want to, or maybe even experiment with radial forces, we're going to be making an impulse grenade from Fortnite. So, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just label my new project whatever I want. Impulse. Yeah, whatever. We are going to be going off of the third person template. So we're going to have starter content and go ahead and create a new project. Alright, so while that is loading, I'm going to go over here, and obviously here is, I apologize if you don't see this. I don't know, it might be a little glitchy. Here's the impulse grenade trailer. So yeah, obviously it just kind of creates, you know, bam, and just pushes everything around it away. So, we'll go back over here, and, did I lose it? Oh, here it is. Alright, so here is our project. So, we got our third person here, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is let's go into our content and create a new folder called our impulse. Impulse GN. I'm just gonna go with GN for grenade. That's not proper abbreviation, I don't think, but it doesn't matter if you have your own system. So let's go ahead and we're gonna create a new blueprint class, and we're gonna make an actor. So this actor is gonna be our impulse grenade. Impulse. Impulse. What should I put? Impulse. We'll just call it impulse, and then BP for blueprint. Okay, so let's go ahead and open that up. So first thing we want to make is our collision. So we're going to go ahead and just use a normal sphere collision. So I guess I'll just name this collision. Collision. And drag that as the root. So second thing we want is we want some sort of mesh. So I'm just going to use a sphere for right now. I will name it mesh, even though it's not really a mesh, but it's kind of acting like a mesh for us. So let's add a material. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in panel, and we're gonna assign tech panel. So there, that is our grenade. So that comes with the starter content, so make sure you have that, and that'll be our grenade for right now. Okay, so first of all, if we were to drag this onto the map, it is huge. Impulse grenade should be small. So let's go ahead and grab our mesh and make this small, like that. There we go. And then the collision needs to match this. Actually, we want our collision to be the only collision. So click on the mesh, and we are going to go down to collision and set that to no collision, because we don't want any collision from that. We just want this to be our one source of collision. So once you click on that, go over and let's adjust the sphere radius. We want to basically kind of match our sphere. That way it looks right when it collides with stuff. If you're wondering why we're not using the mesh as our normal collision, because yes, it can act as a collision, that's because if we set it as the root of the entire actor, you can't exactly, like, if I click on this, you see, if I mess with the scale of it, it screws up stuff in other places. So this way, we're not directly messing with the scale of it, like if we wanted to make it smaller. We're messing with the scale through the sphere radius, because that's an option. So if that didn't make any sense to you, just ignore it. Okay, so let's go ahead and what are we gonna do next? So we have our mesh here. We have everything set out. I want to make an explosion. When it explodes, it should, you know, bam, make an explosion. Actually, I don't want it to make a direct explosion, so go ahead and add a particle system, and I'm gonna call this spark. So before it explodes, I want it to give off a little spark and then wait a second. Like in the game, there's a short delay before it explodes, right? So I'm gonna assign this as sparks. So if it'll let me move this. So I'm gonna move this up a little bit, right there. Okay, so there's our sparks. So there's our spark emitter, and then I want to create a second one, which is going to be the actual explosion. Oh wait, no, we just want another particle system, and we will call this explosion. Okay, and then for that one, we will set it as an explosion. Now obviously we want the explosion to be bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and size that up considerable amount. Alright, so there we go. Now let's move on. So first of all, click on both of these, and we want to set them to don't check auto activate. We want that to be off. So go to spark, and this. We don't want them to turn on automatically. Okay, second, we're going to go over to our event graph, and we will start messing with that. So basically, if we click on our collision, we will go over to our events, and on component hit, let's add it on component hit. So basically, the moment that this hits something, we want, what do we want to happen? We want the spark, we want to activate the spark, and we want this to be on for like 0.1 seconds. Okay, I just want it to hit something and then spark for 1 second, basically showing everybody that it's about to activate. And then after it sparks for 1 second, just like 1 split second, we wait, it's like dormant for 1 second, and then it explodes, and it's gonna be epic. So basically we're gonna activate it for, let's add a delay. If you hold down D and click, it'll make a delay. So delay it for 0.1 seconds, and then after that is completed, we want it to deactivate the spark. So if you highlight all that and press C, we can comment it. So what do we want to call this? Just spark. All it does is basically spark for 1 second. So if we go ahead, first thing, well, no, we'll finish this blueprint here first. So after the spark, then we want another delay. We want to wait about 0.9 seconds. 0.9 seconds. And then it's going to explode. So we will go ahead and click, I can just copy this. Copy and paste. Copy, and we're going to activate explosion. If I can get this out of there. And just activate the explosion so it goes, you know. And it doesn't need to shut off because it automatically kind of just starts or stops. So there we go. Activates explosion. So there we go, that's set. So I will just comment that and say explosion. And I will move this upwards. Alright, so there we go. Now we have it. So basically when it hits anything, it will explode. But here's the thing. Whenever we like spawn it or anything, it's just going to float in the air, and we don't want that. So what we're going to add is projectile movement. Projectile movement. So add that. Projectile movement, basically just, it gives it movement like projectile. So this is basically like, you know, missiles, all that stuff. It's a projectile. We're giving it movement. So our initial speed, we want it to be 500. So when it first spawns, it should automatically be moving by like 500 speed. The max speed should be 5,000. So that's how fast it should be allowed to move. Was there anything else? No, I don't think I had anything else. Nope, okay. So now, as you can see, our grenade is a lot smaller. So let's go ahead and simulate this. What just happened? Simulate. Huh, it's going through the ground for some reason. Collision. Let's see, is there anything wrong with our collision? Block all. Let's change that to block all, maybe. There we go. Okay. So, just if you didn't catch that, go to collision and change it to block all. So, there we go. So if we simulate that, you can see that it's thrown, it gives off a little spark, and then explodes. So let's go ahead. If I tilt this, it'll shoot it up into the sky. Perfect. Alright. So, let's see, I want to give it a little bit more force. Like if you watch it, it doesn't go that far at all. So let's go ahead and go to our projectile movement and let's amp up the force. Let's turn that to 1,000. That's its initial speed now. So there we go. That's a pretty nice throw there. Alright, and then that explodes. Alright, perfect. Now the next thing we need to add is we need to add the force. So right now it looks like it explodes, but if I actually play the game, oh, give it a second. It has to load my Oculus Rift just for some reason. So, alright, there you go. So now if I actually play the game, it just explodes, but I don't go flying or anything. So now we're going to add that. So we're going to use a thing called radial force. So here's our radial force. And that's a pretty nice size. Let's give it a little bit bigger radius. And there we go. So that's our radial force. So basically the moment it explodes, we want to activate our radial force. So here's a radial force. So make it so it does not auto activate. And then let's set our force strength. So let's make it 100 million. No, wait, 100,000. Alright, let's start with 100,000. Impulse strength. Alright, everything looks good. Alright, so basically the moment that it explodes, we want to copy and paste this. We want to activate the radial force. Actually, you know what? Delete that. We can use the same activate. So after this short delay, it activates both the explosion and the radial force. So the looks and the actual physics of it. So there we go. What else do I want to do? Basically, before it explodes or anything, actually, we're gonna go ahead, delete this comment. We want some room to kind of expand around. So open this up. So here's the thing. Whenever I'll show it to you. So we'll go ahead and we will just play this here. I didn't go flying or anything, so that's weird. Maybe if I give that one more 0. There we go. Alright, so that was a nice 0. So let's see, where are we at? We're basically at 1 million right now, for the force strength. So here's the thing, when it like lands normally, we're pretty good with that. So actually, you know what? That works pretty good. Oh, here's the thing though. It doesn't turn off. You can see if I still go close to it, it pushes me away. So we have to make it so it turns off. So basically activate. And then after, let's make a delay here. Remember, just hold down D to make that. After about, yeah, 0.2 seconds delay, we want to deactivate. Deactivate our radial force. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Bam. Okay, so look at that. At the moment we have our grenade. Bam. Boom. And I go flying into the air. Sweet. Okay. Oh, but then here let's test that if I go up to it afterwards. Okay, if I run up to it now, it's off. See? I can walk into it. Whoa. Okay. Oh, that's because I hit it, basically. Remember, every time something hits it, it will explode. But don't worry, we're going to change that right now. So, basically, after all that happens, we want to next, basically, make it all kind of, we want to destroy it. Once it explodes, it's gone. It should be gone, right? So, what we want to do is, the moment that all happens, we're going to give it one short delay. We want to give it this delay of about 6 seconds. We want to give it 6 seconds for the explosion to kind of calm down. We don't want it all to suddenly just disappear while things are still working out. And then we're going to destroy actor. Destroy actor. Alright, so let's go ahead and try that out. So if I walk up to it, I'll get pushed back. It didn't get pushed back, but there we go, and it destroyed the actor. But I don't like that it shows that still laying there. Yeah, I don't like that just sits there afterwards. So before it destroys the actor, we are going to destroy component. Destroy component mesh. We want to destroy that mesh. So now let's go over here. There we go. You see, it destroys that before it's gone. All right, perfect. Okay then, so we're gonna recap right here. So first, when it first hits something right here, it's gonna give it a quick spark. Okay, it turns on the spark for 0.1 seconds, and then it turns it off. So you just get a little spark. Then it will, after it does that one blink, it will wait for 1 second or 0.9 seconds, and then it'll activate the explosion in the radial force, and everything happens. And then after 0.2 seconds, it's going to turn everything off, and then it will destroy the orb. That way it's kind of gone from the explosion. And then after 6 seconds, just to make sure nothing goes crazy or anything, it'll destroy everything and the whole actor will disappear. Alright, sweet. So now let's make it so you can basically spawn it from the person, like when you're playing the game. So let's go do that. So go into our third person blueprint and let's open our third person character. So let's go ahead and make an area where basically whenever we say make a grenade, where is it going to spawn it, right? So we want it to follow the camera. So let's go ahead and make a sphere collision. We're going to give it no collision because we don't want it messing with anything. And let's name it spawn zone. Alright, so make sure it's under the camera so it follows our camera, and we're gonna put it right in front of the character. So this is not the best way to do it. Look up some other way, I guess, to spawn something. I mean, we don't have any animations or anything, so this is what I'm gonna do here. So we're gonna make it so whenever you get mouse click no wait, not mouse click, mouse button, left mouse button. Whenever it is pressed, we're gonna spawn an actor. Spawn actor from class. So what are we spawning? We are spawning, spawning means make, our impulse grenade. Alright? So class basically is what kind of blueprint it is. It is our impulse grenade. That's what we want to spawn. Impulse. There it is. Okay. But spawn transform. Where does it want us to spawn it? So go ahead and just click split structure pin, and it'll turn into all these. And then where do we want to spawn it? Well, we want it to spawn wherever this spawn zone is. We want it to spawn wherever this is because it follows the camera, so it'll be wherever we're looking. So let's get world transform. So get its transform. I just clicked the wrong thing. Get world transform. Alright, and go ahead and split that. Split structure pin. So we want it to have the exact same transform as it. I mean location as it. The exact same rotation as it. And we want to keep the size normal. So if anything ever happens, if the player gets shrinked or something for some reason, we want the size of the grenade to always be the same. Collision hindering. Try to adjust location. Try to adjust location, but always spawn. Let's change it to that. Alright. So, if this works right, I should be able to click, and it will make one. There we go. Alright, so I click, and it throws one. Perfect. Alright, so look at that. I can go ahead and click, and I will click everywhere. Perfect. And there you go, you have an impulse grenade. So I hope you liked this tutorial. I'm gonna stick around and just kind of show you how you can mess around with this. So obviously this was kind of inspired by Fortnite. So if I go ahead and delete this, and I'm gonna add a landscape. Let's see, fill world, create. I'm gonna make a landscape real quick right here. So if you don't know how to do any of this, like this isn't really part of the tutorial. I'm just kind of look up how to make how to sculpt a landscape in Unreal Engine if you wish to learn what I'm doing right here, or if you don't know what I'm doing here. So basically I just made some mountains here. Alright, I'm gonna make a plateau. I want to flatten. Alright, so now here we go. I have this big nice mountain here, so I can throw my impulse grenade and bam, shoot me up to the top of it. And I can throw another one and go even higher, or I could be on the top and somebody's gonna throw it and I'm trying to run, but then it shoots me off, like, oh no, and then I fall to my death. Blam, you know, die. Well, I'm stacking them. That's a problem. Alright then, so I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and go ahead if you have any questions, anything goes wrong, post it in my comments. Just starting out, so I have no views or anything, so I doubt that I will be cluttered with comments, so I'll probably respond to you pretty quickly. So anyway, thanks. Please share my channel if you know any other people that are on Unreal Engine and play Fortnite or whatever, you know. Okay then. Alright, bye.